Hello, today we're filming a tutorial on how to do the Crank It Like a Chainsaw by Family Force 5. We're taking a dance originally created by the Refit Revolution. Their actual dance is in the description below, along with the steps and the timestamps for each step in the description below, so please check that out. Thank you. For the Crank It Like a Chainsaw dance, it's actually quite simple. It's only a couple steps that's repeated over and over again. Right here I have written down a sequence so that you can see kind of what it looks like. It'll go from an A, which is your opening, B, C, D, E, F, E, F, and you just simply repeat that with there is a G in between, but that only happens one time, and then at the very end, and then you go into the B, C, D, E, F, E, F, repeat B, C, D, E, F, E, F, and then you just end with a G. So I know that seems like a lot, but it really is quite simple. As you can see, it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's only 5 dance moves that you're basically doing over and over again, and they sprinkle in one extra dance move at the end and one in the beginning, okay? So let's get started. The first dance step that we're gonna do for the Crank It Like a Chainsaw is just a bob and a weave. So it's just simply bouncing to the beat. So you're just bouncing to the beat. If you wanna add your own freestyle mix to it, you're more than welcome to do that. In the video, you'll even see they kind of put their arms out and kind of do this a few times. It's just literally just bouncing to the beat, back and forth. And that's gonna take us into basically when they start singing the first verse of the song. The first verse is going to be a squat and a block. That's where you're going to go down to a squat position. You're going to put your arms up like this, and you're just going to simply bounce side to side like you're blocking, dodging and blocking. Okay? Once you hear them say, in a more childish voice, chainsaw in the song, that's when it transitions from the block, so we're still in our block squat, to a punch. So then you go to a punch just like this. So, again, together, we're going to do the block it. So we're here, we're blocking back and forth, going back and forth, and then it's going to transition into our punch. Just like that. Okay? So after we finish our punches, you stand up, then you squat back down, arms are here, you raise 1 up, 2 up, and then go back down and then stand up. And then you squat back down and you simply repeat that 4 times. Just like that. So if we're at the block, let's do it together. We're at the block, so we're going blocking. Then we're going to transition to our punches. Then we're going to stand up, and then we're going to squat down and do our squat arm raises. Just like that. You'll know it's at that part the first time through because my favorite part of the song, they're going to reference Skeletor in it from He-Man. So that's always a cool little fun thing from my childhood. All right, after we just finished doing our squats 4 times, arms up and down, then we go into the chorus of the song, which starts with bows to the knees or bows to the knees. And with that, it's literally just kind of get a little wild with it. And you simply throw your arms forward as you kind of roll your knees in and then out and lean back kind of thing. So it's kind of a bows, just like that. And you end up doing that through that part of the chorus, and then you're going to hear him say, crank it like a chainsaw, and that's when you go to one side and you start cranking the chainsaw. Then you go to the other side, crank the chainsaw, and then you bow to the knees again, and then you crank it again. That's why you see the EF, EF on our whiteboard right here in the dance kind of outline of the steps. Okay? So now that you've done that, you've literally done the entire song other than the one closing part. So as we said at the beginning, we have our bob and weave. So if you want to add a little bit more to it and just kind of bob and weave like this, kind of adds a little bit more hip hop to it, that's fine. We have our block, which again, we're in our squat position. We're just bouncing side to side with our arms up. Then we go into our punch, which is our letter C. After punch, we go into our squat and arms up. Again, we do that 4 times. And then after we do that one, we go into the bows, just like that. And then we go into the crank it. Back to the bows and crank it. Okay? So again, it's B, C, D, E, F, E, F. Then we do a G part. The G part is a little bit, it's a little bit with the timing. It's probably the hardest part in my opinion, but it's really not hard at all, okay? It's really just kind of, you're just bobbing and weaving again, like 3 times. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then you just kind of pump up. 1, 2, 3, pump up. 1, 2, 3, pump up, just like that. And then it just simply repeats back at the B. And if you remember, the B is our block, so B for block, okay? That helps you remember it. So, we do our B, C, D, E, F, E, F. We do our G the one time. We won't do G again until the very end. Then we do B, C, D, E, F, E, F. We repeat that one more time, B, C, D, E, F, E, F. And then again, we end on the G. That's the entire song. It's actually quite a simple exercise dance, but it is very well done, again, by Fit Revolution. And to put it all together, you can see the performance video in the description, but practice each step along the way with the music, pause it, and then go back so that you get a chance to kind of really get in sync with how the performers are doing it, okay? All right, we're gonna practice it one time through. We're not gonna do all the counts and do the exact duration, meaning we're not gonna hold the block for as long as we're supposed to hold it. We're just gonna make sure that we kind of have that memory of every time we know what's coming next. That's important. In a dance, if you know what step you have coming next, you have a lot more confidence and you're gonna execute that dance a lot better. So, we're gonna go through the entire dance. Again, we're not gonna do the full duration of it. We're not gonna have any music playing right now, because again, this is just the tutorial part. Okay, so we start with our bob and weave. Then we go down to our squat and block. Then we go into our squat and punch. Then we go into our squat, hands up, so we're here. And again, you'll end up doing that 4 times. Then we go into our bows. Then we're gonna crank it on each side. So we're pulling our chainsaw cord. Then we go to the other side. Then we bows to the knees. Then we're gonna crank it again. Crank it again. Okay, and now we go back to the G part, and that's the bob, pump, bob, pump, bob, pump. And then we go back to the letter B, which is, so we go back to our squat, our block, and we're just blocking. Then punching. Then we stand up, we go back to our squat. Then after that, we go back into the bows to the knees. And then we crank it. Crank it. Bows. Crank it. Crank it. Now, instead of doing the G part, we go back into the B. So we go back into our block. Punch. Then we go into our squat. Now this time when you do the squat, this is the last time you do the squat one, you actually do it 8 times completely through, because it's a long chorus part by the singer right there is Tedashii is his name. And then after that we go back into our bows to the knees. Crank it. Crank it. Bows to the knees. Crank it, crank it, and then finally, now we're at the ending where we do our letter G, which is just our bob and weave until the song ends. And it's a pretty long little ending, like music part, where they're also just kind of singing crank it, that kind of thing. Well, that's it. So again, in the description below, you're gonna find both the performance dance by Fit Revolution. You'll find a link to the dance steps, which you see up here, with timestamps so that you can easily find what you're looking for and practice specific parts. And of course, this was our tutorial video. Thank you for joining us.